Welcome everyone. It is me, Nina Sachs. I am back inside and I've got Lien again for our third session from Vegan Meal Prep Sunday. So Lien, welcome back. And what I thought we'd chat about a little this time is because you do have an amazing website, blog page that I'd said about before, but kind of like how maybe you can give the listeners some like really practical tips on how to get into meal prepping. Like if you haven't done it before, it's not just like, okay, go into my kitchen, open my fridge, bring out the carrots, chop those up, and that's my meal prep. Like there's a bit more to meal prepping with regards to, and you'd alluded to it a little bit in the first interview that we did with regards to, okay, like, you know, maybe on Friday you decide to do this, Saturday it's the shopping day, and like Sunday's a meal prep day. So maybe do you want to guide us through, like, as a beginner, how would I start looking at this and getting inspired, like, so that I can get inspired to actually do it?
Yeah, so I would say if you're open to exploring some vegan recipes, some vegan meal prep recipes, which I personally, you know, okay, I am vegan, so I am biased, but at the same time, vegan recipes are better for meal prep, I personally believe, than meat-based or even like dairy-based recipes, just because plant-based recipes last much easier in the fridge and in the freezer than recipes that contain dairy or meat and fish, you know, meat in general, just because, you know, it doesn't include those ingredients that go off easily. So if you're open to exploring those, then obviously my website, veganmealprepsunday.com, is like a great place to start, just because it has a lot of blog posts that explain how you can meal prep. It explains how you can make a meal plan. There is a meal planner template that you can use. The template helps you like plan your meals throughout the week, and it also has a grocery list template. The grocery list template specifically is like split according to the aisles of the supermarket, so it should make your shopping experience also much more convenient. You can download those things for free on the website. There's just like lots of other blog posts that have tips that can make, you know, meal prepping easier. And then there's obviously like lots of recipes. Some of the recipes are already combined into meal plans. So you can really just take like a meal plan that lists all the meals that you can eat for like 3 days. And then it's super easy. Like you just take the meal plan, you meal prep all those meals, and you have your meals for the coming 3 days. And you didn't need to do
say the lentil bobotie is delicious. Like I remember,
it is a favorite.
It is my favorite. I can't get tofu here, so I do a different topping, because I do have my own chickens that run around the garden. So which is all fine. Everyone, you know, each to their own. But that lentil bobotie is divine. So yeah, I definitely recommend it.
It is like a favorite among. Awesome. It's like a favorite among the South African readers of the blog. People really like it. And it's like, until now, I always thought that maybe one day the post will reduce a little bit in popularity, but it's one of my first recipes, and it has remained like in the top 10 most visited blog posts on the blog. So apparently people really like it.
Yeah. And I'm not just saying that, but it is. I love it. I think it's a great recipe. So well done with getting that.
I also love it so much. I could meal prep it like every week.
Do you? Yeah, I should actually again.
I don't meal prep it every week, but I could. Like I can really, I love eating it. I've even like made it with soy mince instead of the lentils, and it's also so good. Like now Beyond Meat has their mince, like on the South African market, they sell it at Woolworth. It's really expensive, but if you really want to have like a fancy, you know, vegan meal, it's perfect for the bobotie.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, so kind of like what you're alluding to is really important. Like draw out or print out one of your beautiful meal plan templates. It's like, get that, get inspiration, like go to your website, go to your favorite cookbooks, find like what is in season at the moment, and like write down what you would like to have on each day. And I think what's really helpful is then you also know, like, okay, on a Monday, I've got yoga, you know, at this day, at this time, or I've got an online course I'm going to on this day and this time. So I need something lighter for dinner. I need something a little earlier. I need something bigger for lunch here. And you can already organize kind of like what type of meal you would need when. And I think that is really, really helpful to know as well. And then you can kind of like pop those recipes in place as to where you want what. Now, I'm the kind of person who, I don't mind having the same thing for lunch and dinner for like 2 or 3 days in a row. Like I'm totally down with that because I love the work that I do. Like if I can have more time to like interview people like you and to speak to people like that, like I'm all for it. Craig, on the other hand, if I give him like the same meal 2 days in a row, his eyes are already rolling. He's like, do I have to eat this again? So I know for him, and I know there are people who are like him who just do like variety, which is all cool. It's knowing yourself and understanding yourself, because then you can plan for you and your family better, I think, having that awareness.
Yes, totally. And there are ways to make that happen. You know, you can focus more on like freezer meals if you want more variety, or you can plan like in such a way that you eat something on a Monday, then something different on a Tuesday, then the same thing that you ate on Monday on a Wednesday, you know, something like that, to cheat a little bit. Yeah, there's lots of ways that you can work more variety or less variety into your meal plan for the week.
And also maybe kind of like using similar ingredients, but making it a different meal. So it's kind of like a stir fry, and then the next day the things might be more of like a salad with like, you know, and then it might be a stew, but it's like all actually the same type of vegetables or things in there, but it's just slightly differently prepared.
Yes. And then also just in general, like if you don't even want to really use recipes and you're more the type of person that has like, you know, certain produce available and then just want to work around that, you can also just think about it in like a more simple way. And you can just think, okay, I just want to make this veg. I want to add this protein to it and I'll serve it with this starch. You can be like, okay, I'll make rice, I'll make this protein, and then I'll make these vegetables. And you just combine it and it's also a meal. You know, not everything has to be like an elaborate recipe. It can just be like, you know, 3 components that form a meal. And then maybe you can like prep a sauce in advance that you'll just drizzle over to make it more interesting. If you feel that, you know, just the elements are too simple. There's so many ways to be creative. And another place that is a really good source for inspiration is just Pinterest. I really enjoy using Pinterest, and most of the vegan meal prep Sunday recipes are on Pinterest. But there's obviously also so many other great recipes on there if you just like Google meal prep, vegan meal prep.
Yeah. So kind of like getting idea, putting your plan together, putting pen to paper. I think that is really helpful because, and then you can create your shopping list. Then you already know, okay, this week I'm going to need kind of these type of vegetables, this kind of starch. This is what I've got in my pantry. This is what I need to buy. You're not overbuying. You're not going into the shops and all of a sudden, because they're two bags for the price of one or something, you know, and you feel that, you know, that's a really great deal. So you're going to buy that. And then, like you're saying, at the end of the day, it all goes into the waste dump because you actually haven't used it. You kind of, you go into the shops, you know exactly what you're needing. And then you can come back. It must make the shopping experience a lot less stressful, I find, when you know what you're wanting to get.
Definitely. I can't go to the shop anymore like without a grocery list, because otherwise, like, where do you start? You just like start buying random things, you don't end up using them. just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like we're kind of, I suppose, like slightly different because I'm out so rural and so remote. Like I do have my list that I
Yes,
go in with, and then I'll get to the shops and I'll be like, oh wow, no fresh fruit and veg today. Okay.
yes,
Like I'll get whatever else is in, or all
yes,
of a sudden there'll be like a whole load of broccoli and that wasn't on my list. And I'll be like, wow, okay, this week I can make like a
yes,
nice broccoli soup or something like that, like grab the broccoli. And then
yes.
like that's also where like the part 3 of like the meal prep that you're saying, like you take Sunday, take 2 hours or whatever it is to actually spend in your kitchen. And in Ayurveda, we call it kitchen sadhana, where it becomes
Ah,
this like sanctuary, the spiritual place where you actually dedicate time and energy to, so that you can put your energy and love into the food that you're preparing, that you're going to be eating.
I
That's for
love
your
that.
family and friends. Yeah. So kind of feel like you call it meal prep. In Ayurveda, we call it kitchen sadhana. And so let's talk a bit about that idea of like spending a couple of hours. I mean, we're talking about Sunday, the two of us, but it could literally be any day of the week, depending on what a person's schedule and work schedule looks like. Okay. So what kind of things can
I
we meal
actually
prep do?
I actually love the word kitchen sadhana because, I actually always look at my meal prep sessions on a Sunday as like a self-care slash like expression of my love towards my husband, for example, because, you know, I really like in that moment that I'm cooking in the kitchen, I really enjoy it so much because I'm like, I'm not in a hurry to cook. I have all the time in the world to cook. I don't have to do it like quick, quick while everybody is already starving. I have my time. I can do it, with ease and without being in a rush. And, I do it because it is important to me that I eat healthy, that my loved ones are eating healthy. So I really like look at it as this whole like enjoyable experience. So it's appropriate to give it a word like kitchen sadhana, I would say. And it really has become something that I just enjoy. Like it's not a chore anymore. I'm like, when I'm there, I don't listen to anything anybody's saying, and I'm just having my time.
You're in your zone, you're doing your thing, and kind of
Correct.
the way that I find so that I do it. So for example, a friend had a whole load of cabbages, so they were fresh and in season at the moment. So like one of my kitchen sadhana practices, one of the Sundays, was to make sauerkraut. And so
Mm.
because it is, and gut shots, they kind of like go hand in hand. I do the two together. And then like my whole kitchen, like we're saying, is a mess. And it's just like cabbage everywhere, and there's salt water everywhere, and it's going. But the thing is, now I've got like a whole shelf in my fridge filled with gut shots. I've got a big thing of sauerkraut that's going to last me for a good couple of months. And I don't need to do it again. I don't need to think about it, any other time. I'm getting in the good bacteria into my body. So I don't need to be taking, prebiotics, probiotics. I don't need to
Probiotic,
be spending
yes.
money, at the pharmacist for that kind of stuff. Like I'm nourishing myself from the inside. So it's kind of like having little big projects like that as well. Like you're saying, sometimes it's salad dressing, sauces or recipes that you'll do that, will last you for the week. If it is making the lentil bobotie or certain meals, maybe it is like often what I will do as well is because I get a lot of veg from friends, it's like spinach. So I'll, wash and I'll soak the spinach and have that all cleaned and then chop that up so that when I want to do a smoothie in the morning, I just need to take a handful of this, a handful of that, put it in. If I don't do that, if I don't have it ready chopped, and the likelihood of me making like a green smoothie in the morning is none. Like it just won't happen. But if the
Yes,
stuff is there in my fridge, I will so easily do that.
exactly. planning ahead makes such a big difference.
It really does. It really does. So what other kind of things would you suggest that are good to do in like this Sunday space?
Yeah, so I think another quite like important thing is to really, in advance decide when you are going to do your meal prep on a Sunday. And, I'm now going to go back to the book, The Power of Habit. One thing that he discusses in the book is called the concept habit stacking. So he believes that if you already have a habit that you are repeating on a consistent basis, the easiest way to introduce another habit to your weekly habits is by just adding it on to a habit that you already have. So let's say you already are in the habit of like taking your dog for a walk on a Sunday morning. This is now a habit that I have, so it's an easy example for me. So let's say, okay, every Sunday morning you take him for a walk at 9 in the morning, and then you're done at 10. You just make it a habit that as soon as you come home, you feed your dog and you start your meal prep. Then you know for sure you're done by lunchtime. Then you can go out with your family for a lunch or whatever it is that you want to get up to on a Sunday, So I think determining when you are going to do your meal prep is very important in advance. So that you don't just like end up postponing it on a Sunday, and then the end of the Sunday comes around and then you haven't done it, and then it just
Feel
doesn't
bad
happen.
about yourself, and you're disappointed in yourself, and you're annoyed with yourself.
Exactly.
You go through that
Yeah.
spiral. Yeah.
Yes. So, determining when you're going to do it, and like one thing that can make that decision easier is by stacking it onto another habit that you're already doing, to make your rate of success that much higher.
Mm.
I think that's pretty important. And then,
I'm going
sorry,
to interject just quickly, and that
no
habit
problem.
stacking is so important. We use it a lot in my membership course as well, where it's like kind of like one of the practice that in Ayurveda that we do is like scraping the tongue first thing in the morning. So everyone always brushes their teeth mostly when they wake up. So kind of like habit stacking is like, okay, before I brush my teeth, I'm just going to use my tongue scraper, scrape my tongue. I'm already in the bathroom. I'm already in front of the mirror. I'm still in front of the sink. It's all happening there. And that's how you, like you're saying, that's how you introduce another habit with habit stacking. The other thing that I'm going to add in there that has been super helpful for me and a lot of people I've worked with is this idea of architecting your environment. So like making sure like the night before that your tongue scraper is right next to your toothbrush, so that before you go grab your toothbrush, you just go grab your tongue scraper. And like what you're saying is like when you come back from the walk with the dogs, and you feed the dogs, like make sure your meal plan is there, and maybe you've even taken out certain vegetables or whatnot, and that they're on the counter with the chopping board and the knife, so that like you're not even thinking, you don't even have to take things there, it's already sitting there. So I love those two habits together, the habit stacking and the architecting your environment aspect of it.
Yes. That makes a huge difference, of course. Like the night before, you can already put your meal plan out. Like there's so many things that you can do to just like make your life easier, to make sure that you definitely do it. And then another thing that I think is really helpful in the beginning, when it's not a strong habit yet, it's still a habit that you're trying to acquire, I think it also really helps to like reward yourself when you are done with your meal prep. Rewards can also be so many different things. It can be really small, it can be bigger, it can be just like eating a cookie, or saying, okay, if I meal prep on a Sunday, I can go and have my nails done on a Monday, or I don't know, or I can go for a massage. I don't know, maybe those are big rewards now. Or your husband can give you a foot massage or something. I don't know. I think something small that gives you enough motivation to get it done. It really helps, especially in the beginning.
I love that. I love that idea. Love the idea of like going, maybe go get your nails done or your hair done or a foot massage or something like that, because you've now saved all this time by dedicating it to doing it like on a Sunday. So on Thursday, you've got an extra hour after work or whenever it is at lunchtime, like go and spoil yourself.
Exactly.
I love that.
You
And
have a
it
little extra time, you have a little extra money, so you can like invest it in something small that you really, really, really enjoy a lot, and I think it can really help you be motivated.
I love that. I love that. So in that regard, kind of like, thank you so much for giving us a lot of tips and ideas with meal prep. I run the 7-day clean eating challenge, and I've started actually doing it seasonally because it's been working so well with everyone who comes. Because when they come, they do like they work out what it is that they're needing. So like I have a chat with everyone beforehand. We figure out what they're needing. Like Jess, I just like, she's come to every single one we've done, and she's like, Nina, I don't know why I'm back again this year, but I'm really struggling with this X, Y, and Z, and I really do not want to focus on food. So we went through the whole process, and at the end of the day, what we worked out is like, she needed to sing in the car. Like that was her 7-day clean eating challenge, to bring more joy
Wow.
into her life and into her space. So like it's called a 7-day clean eating challenge, but when we go through the process, we figure out what every person individually actually needs. Someone may need to stop the sugar, someone may stop the caffeine, someone needs to maybe exercise more or move more. So what I was going to invite you to is say, would you be one of our guest speakers on our next clean eating challenge? Because I think having this meal prep understanding is so valuable. So will you do that, please?
Yes, of course, happily.
Awesome, fantastic. I'm so excited. So we'll come up with a nice theme for that in September. And I'll keep you posted. So anything
That will be
else you
great.
would like the listeners to be reminded of or think of? Because they can find all your stuff at veganmealprepsunday.com, and I love the
Correct.
recipes. You've got all the tips there, which are fantastic. So anything that we've been speaking about, there are blog posts on all of that if you kind of like can't remember what we were getting to. And if it's not for anything we've spoken about and it's just to see your beautiful images, I would suggest people go there just for a bit of I don't know, what do they call it in the industry? Food porn, image porn, with regards.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, anything you want to leave the listeners with?
I think that's it. If anybody has any specific questions, they're always also welcome to contact me personally. On the website, there is like a contact form that you can always use if there's any specific questions that you have.
Good. And
yeah, that's it.
we're going to see a lot
People enjoy
in
the content.
future. Sorry.
Yes.
All right, meal prep Sunday, here we go. Vegan meal prep Sunday, here we go. I'm so excited and looking forward to seeing what you are coming up with next. So thank you so much for being on here and taking time to chat.
Thank you, Nina.